Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I was supposed to make a video yesterday, but I was extremely exhausted from work. And due to that, well, that's history now. So, you may be wondering, why do we have our president in front of the screen? Well, I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about our greatest ally in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? The most moral army in the Middle East. You guessed it. Israel. So, before we get to this story, I want to go ahead and set the stage for y'all for a little bit. I've been doing a little bit of reading, okay? And so, recently, as of January 2nd, it's only been 5 days, okay? Report: Israel asks Qatar to increase fund transfer to Hamas in Gaza a month before October 7th. Oh, a month before October 7th. Now, here's my question that I've been wondering, okay? Because we understand that Israel was told in advance by Egypt specifically that Hamas was preparing to do something. And so my question is this: when did that happen? So according to this article here, in case you guys want to go ahead and call me anti-Semite, this is from the Time of Israel. In one of I think this is the right here. Is this the one I was reading? Yes. In one of the said warning, Egypt Intelligence Minister General Abbas Hamel personally called Netanyahu only 10 days before the massive attack that Gazans were likely to do. Something unusual and terrible operation, according to the Ynet news site. Now, we now know that our president of America and the Prime Minister of Israel was warned in advance of the attack that happened. We know that. Second thing that we are aware of is the fact that the attack went on for about 5 to 6 hours. We know that. And obviously, we know that the state of Israel is about the same size as New Jersey, perhaps even smaller. God knows exactly. I'll have to go ahead and look up the exact square feet. But we know that. So it doesn't take 5 to 6 hours to respond. Another thing that we need to understand is the fact that pretty much the whole entire state is filled with nobody but IDF. Okay? And on top of that, I'll say pretty much all of them either have their rifles hanging on their back or it's at home and they're probably taking a break or on their day off or whatever. Okay? So if you put 2 and 2 together, obviously that means, hey, they knew this attack was coming. Hey, there was definitely a standby order. All right. And another thing that we also need to keep in mind is the fact that the Hannibal Directive also took place on October 7th when the attack was happening. We have videos, footages of Apache helicopters clearly shooting at their own people. And then on top of that, they show the aftermath of all the cars that were destroyed. And I'm going to tell you this, Hamas, although they were given a lot of money, okay? A lot of money, right? They did not have enough money to do the amount of damage that was caused during October 7th. So the Shin Bet investigation into the event of October 7th, published in March of 25, claimed that Qatar funding helped arm Hamas. Hamas took advantage of those years to build up its military strength, in large measure thanks to the strategic support of Iran and the use of the fund that came from Iran and from Qatar, the report said. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of office had confirmed in March that according to the security establishment funding, beginning in March of 22, Hamas diverted $4 million in funding to its military wing. Now, this is one thing that we need to understand. Throughout the whole entire existence of Israel, we understand that they wanted the Palestinian out no matter what. That was the goal from the beginning. They wanted to ethnically cleanse these people. And you also have to understand that you don't have to be a genius. You don't have to have an IQ of 150 to realize that was their whole plan the whole time. Okay? And even Benjamin Netanyahu has been caught on tape saying horrendous thing, and that the establishment of the state of Palestine will never ever happen. Okay? Now that we know that, you guys also need to understand that Qatar is also in tune with what's going on in Gaza. Same thing with Jordan. Same thing with, well, after the whole massacre of 2000 and of October 7th, the whole world has now been invested. But one thing that I do want to say is they knew the whole situation in Qatar. I mean, in Gaza. What am I getting at? What I'm trying to say is that Qatar pretty much helped to destroy the Palestinians. This is one thing that we need to put a lot of emphasis on. We like to blame Israel for the whole crime. We like to say, oh, Israel. One thing that you guys need to understand, okay, is that Qatar took part in the destruction of the Palestinian people. How do you think they were able to get that money? Obviously, Qatar. Who went ahead and told them to give that money to them? We understand who did. It was our president of the United States and the prime minister of Israel. And here's another way that, you know, Israel pretty much helped Hamas stay in power. For over the years, officials in security establishments suspect that Hamas was exploiting Qatar's assistance to civilians to reinforce its military capability in two different ways. Between 2018 and 2021, when Netanyahu was prime minister, tens of millions of dollars were transferred to Gaza in cash within suitcases, which made it difficult to trace and difficult to ensure that it wasn't ending up in part of hands of senior Hamas official who would direct it to unknown purpose. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Netanyahu is currently under investigation for war crime and so on and so forth. If you haven't seen the BB file, it's a documentary. I'd highly recommend you guys to find it. It's not going to be on YouTube. The BB file. If you watch the BB file, you understand that that Benjamin Netanyahu is not only getting funding from Qatar, there's also people involved like Miriam Edelson. And now we also understand that Larry, God, I can never say this dude's name, bro. The owner of Oracle and now the new owner of TikTok, okay? This ugly ass dude, right? He is one of the biggest founder of the IDF, all right? So, although we understand that, it also makes sense that he will also help fund Hamas to keep them in power because of the whole situation that's going on right now. So that way they can use that as a way of saying, hey, we're being oppressed. Look how barbaric these people are. They're trying to take us out. So we now need to defend ourselves. Completely ignoring the fact that they funded they funded these people. Completely ignoring the fact that Benjamin Netanyahu said that he wanted to go ahead and control, I guess you can say, the height of the flame. All right. And so this is what they do. They transfer money in suitcase where it cannot be traced and then hand it directly into the hands of Hamas. Of course, Hamas is going to take care of that because these people have been in concentration camp pretty much the whole entire life. So they want everything and anything to help them get out of the situation in which they're in. All right. And, here's another article from Times of Israel. For years, Netanyahu propped up Hamas. Now it is blown up in his face. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us back to why I pull up this image right here. So, the judge presiding over Netanyahu corruption case was found unalived. That deserves that. Wow, look at that. I mean, let's be honest. He's old. Surprisingly, people just end up dying in car crashes. You guys remember a couple of weeks back when there was a talk that was happening in Egypt and one of the officials, if I'm not wrong, from Qatar that also got into a car accident and just happened to die? You start to notice a pattern. And now we have this guy over here who is trying to persecute Benjamin Netanyahu for his war crime. And surprise, surprise, he just ended up dying in a car crash. Again, this whole entire idea that Israelis are so smart. Oh, the IDF are so brave. Oh, look at that. They were able to do a 10-year operation in where they put pagers in the pockets of the people and then that went ahead and kaboom boom in the face of. First of all, that was a T attack. Let's be quite honest. One thing that you guys need to understand, right? It's not about being smart. People with an IQ of 20 can commit T attack. Well, I won't say 20. That's just borderline, retard. But let's dial it back. Whatever the borderline is, let's say 80. Okay, below 80, you're a retard. So people with an IQ of 80, they're all capable of committing T attack. It's that simple. All right, it's that simple. You need to understand that these people, they have no souls. Okay. Whenever I look at this guy, he looks dead to me. I mean, like his face has no life. He looks just pathetic. He looked weak. He looked dead to me. Okay. And the reason I'm putting so much emphasis on this is simply because somebody in this position that have no emotion, has no feeling, no sense of right and wrong, they're capable of doing anything and everything to achieve that which they want. You don't have to be a genius to commit crime to get away with it. Well, to an extent you do, but the extent in which these people do it, let's be honest. The JFK assassination, the only reason that was able to be under wrap is simply because they had control of the mainstream media at that time, and social media was not as big, and independent journalists were not as big. Fast forward today, now that we are able to look into these things, we realize these people are sloppy. Another example, 7-Eleven. You got them dancing on top of the roof. They got their freaking dirty ass finger all over that. We know that. So guess what? With the advance of technology and people having the capability to look into these stories for themselves, they come to a realization that, hey, these people have their dirty ass fingers all over this. And if you want to go even further than that, we can also talk about the USSR Liberty. They claim that, oh, it was a mistake. You don't attack a ship for 90 minutes with the US flag all over it. And on top of that, they did it with unmarked plane, which is a war crime, by the way. Fast forward today, we have technology. We look into the story, and guess what? We come to a realization these people have their dirty ass fingers all over it. You want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein? They claim that he's not Mossad. Really? The ex-prime minister is literally sleeping in his house. This dude's picture was taken at least 30 times visiting him. He might as well be crashing there. All right? And then, like, Mossad is written all over Jeffrey Epstein's face. But one thing that you guys need to understand is that, yes, Jeffrey Epstein is somebody that they caught. Okay? They caught him, even though he could have been caught a long time ago, but they let him go because he was a special case. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why Jeffrey Epstein was caught is simply because they want to make it seem like they're doing something. But one thing that you guys need to understand is that they're spread all over the United States. If you think Jeffrey Epstein is the only one, then you are sadly mistaken. I hate to break it to you, but you are sadly mistaken. With that being said, the only reason that they are able to pretty much commit so much crime and get away with it is simply because the people who are supposed to persecute them, the people who are supposed to put them accountable, hold them accountable for their crime, all these people are bought. Look at the UN. The UN just sits back and let President of the United States attack a sovereign nation, Venezuela, and then kidnap the president of that country. Talking about, oh, he's exporting drug, which is bullshit, by the way. This is something else that's going to benefit our allies in the Middle East. And then on top of that, the 20-year war that happened in the Middle East, talking about WMD being there, nobody has been held accountable for that. I don't see Bush in jail. I don't see Obama in jail. Millions of innocent people in the Middle East lost their life because of a lie. Simply because they wanted to destabilize the whole entire region so that way they can get, set up a straight path for this soulless fuck here. I mean, I seriously don't understand how the American people have been asleep for so long and they haven't realized that this guy is the reason why your country is so fucked. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure all that out. Look at your soldiers. They have PTSD from fighting all these guys. And now that they're here, guess what? They've been pushed aside like bunch of garbage not to be taken care of. And then the money that we're supposed to use to take care of them is being sent where? To go and take care of our biggest allies in the Middle East. Meanwhile, they are just causing corruption all over the place. Meanwhile, they're attacking all their neighbors. Meanwhile, they are the reason why there's no damn peace in the Middle East. The world is unease because of talk of World War III. And meanwhile, this is happening. These guys are getting ready to attack Iran again. don't even. I mean, sometimes it's just so frustrating when you see all of these happening, and then you go and you go on X, and you have all these people just glazing the shit out of Donald Trump, glazing the shit out of this dude right here, and I'm just here thinking to myself, is the money that good? I mean, seriously, think about it. If World War III was to start, what is the reason for you to have all that money? It will become worthless. Think about that. I've gone on a tangent, ladies and gentlemen. I've gone on a tangent. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right here. Um, if you want to go ahead and see more of my video, please just go ahead and click on more of it, because I can keep talking about this. I need to start doing lives, to be quite honest with you guys. I need to start doing live, but I'm working on that. So if you made it this far, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. If you like me talking shit about our president of the United States, the prime minister of Israel, please, again, go ahead and just leave that subscribe button right there. And if I got anything wrong, I apologize for that. Let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to correct it in my next video. If I did say if I said something that was right, just understand that, well, I got it directly from their source. So trying to call me an anti-Semite is not gonna work, because they said it themselves. This dude literally funded Hamas himself. So for any Jews out there who is listening, understand that the person that is ruling you, okay, he's the reason for your unease. Ever since the creation of the state of Israel, when have they been in a position where they're like, no more wars, let's go ahead and sit back and relax? It hasn't happened, has it? Anyways, I'll catch you guys up later.